How often do you tell lies?
Sad to say, probably every day, but basically white lies, nothing too hurtful.
Not that much, only if I need to, like little white lies, like to get out of punishment or something.
I lie often.
Accidentally once a week.
Well, yeah, occasionally, sometimes it just comes out. You don't want to hurt a friend's feelings.
If you count just, little white lies and little fibs and stuff, definitely on a daily basis. I try not to, but it just kind of happens. It's kind of a natural thing.
I lie every day. Every day, every second.
I call it joke, and I don't really call it lying, because I like to joke a lot.
It's sad to say, but at least once a day.
A small white lie once a day or every other day or something like that.
Probably like twice a month, 3 times a month.
I don't have like an average. I mean, once in a while if the situation comes up where you need to, but unless it's a necessary lie, then I don't tell them that often.
Not very often. I like to be honest.
Not often at all.
I don't think I lie a lot. I don't really need to. I mean, I'm 20 years old. There's nothing I really have to lie about. I mean, I choose not to because I think it's better to be upfront. Even if it's not what people always like to hear, sometimes you just got to do it, even to save yourself in situations, It's better just to be like, tell the truth.
Well, if I don't lie outside, but like in my mind, I lie a lot. I try normally not to tell lies.
I tell little white lies when I have to make someone feel better, but I don't usually lie. I feel too bad.
I lie every day. Not very good, but not bad lies. Just kind of white lies.
Nothing of, huge magnitude, just little stuff.
I do tell lies, but not too often. I'm trying to not tell too many, but you end up doing it sometimes anyway.
Just not really big lies, but stupid little stuff like, did you clean your room? And you're like, yeah, I cleaned my room because I want to go out, but besides for that, not really.
A survey of 10,000 high school students taken a few years ago produced these statistics.
Nearly half, or 46% of these students, admitted to shoplifting.
70% admit to having cheated on an exam.
And 92% have lied to a parent.
Does this accurately reflect the behavior in your school?
Do you think that dishonesty has become a common and accepted way of getting what you want and getting ahead of others?
Does this accurately reflect your behavior? Are you an honest person? That's what we'll be talking about today. Hi everyone, I'm Alicia.
And I'm John.
And this is Real Faith TV.
We just heard from the teens on the street about how often they lie.
We will also talk with our studio guests and get their views on honesty.
But first, let's meet our spotlight guest, Lauren, and find out what she thinks teens lie about.
I've honestly never known anyone that hasn't looked for the quality of honesty in a friend or someone that they want to be around with, and to me, being dishonest is such a sign of disrespect. So I think it's important to be honest, just to show people that you have respect for them and that you'll get respect back. I try to be honest most of the time, but I've never really kept track of how many lies I've told, but I'm really try to be honest with everyone.
If someone lies to you, do you give them a second chance, or you just cut off the friendship?
I definitely give them a second chance, but it also factors in on how big the lie was and how many times they've lied to me. I don't give up on the friendship, but I am going to sit down and try to discuss with them why they feel they need to lie to me. Some examples of how teenagers are not honest, I think, is cheating one. And I think at this stage in our lives, we're all trying to just feel accepted. So I think we'll basically lie, self-consciously, just to get the feeling of being accepted. I think, kids, they want to pass and they want to not only be accepted by their peers, but also their parents, and they're trying to make them happy. So I think they'll cheat just to get the better grade, or fit in with a smart crowd or something like that. And I think, to get into clubs and stuff like that, we've all told lies, to try to make ourselves look better.
Let's meet our studio guests and see how they feel about teens and honesty.
Okay, with us today we have Zoe, Vanessa, Sarah, Megan, Bryce, and Beth.
So what do you guys think about this? Do you agree with the things that Lauren said teens lie about?
I definitely agree with that, cheating, and you guys said in the beginning of the show, about 70% of teens cheat. That's a very big percentage, and a lot of people get away with that,
Yeah, I would agree with Vanessa. At my school, even the kids who get the best grades, most of them cheat.
I agree with what Lauren said, how a lot of people lie just to fit in, and sometimes they don't even realize they're doing it because they so badly want to be accepted. I see that happen a lot.
Which isn't really not a good thing, because if you're lying to fit in, people are getting to know someone that isn't really you. I know kids who go to a party and where there's drinking and stuff, but they don't agree with drinking, so they pretend that they're drunk,
which is really stupid if you ask me, because then they're totally getting to know someone who isn't you at all, and if you don't want to drink, there's obviously a reason you don't want to do that, so why would you lie and twist that around? I don't know. It's just a weird thing.
Yeah, that is weird. All right, guys, tell the truth on this one, all right? Have you ever told a lie, and just tell us a little bit about the lie.
Yeah, I know that every now and then I tell my mom a little white lie, like, that I didn't, like, she says, whose soda can is this? And I'll say, oh, it's my brother's. And it was really mine, and I forgot to put it there. And I can see that it's wrong, because it gets her really, really upset. Yet I still do it, and I don't know why. It's sort of like habit, and you gotta break it.
Yeah, you do.
I'll tell a little white lie to my mom like that, but then 2 seconds later I'm like, no, I was lying, I'm sorry. I like can't do it, I'm not capable of it, but.
I do like little things, like Bryce said about the soda can, like little things like that. But I mean, it's definitely something that we have to try to like break the cycle. You know, sometimes, like you said, just like have it, like it just slips out, and then I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. I mean, no, like Beth said, like no, it really was me. I didn't mean that. You know.
Or like if you don't want to hurt a friend's feelings, you know, who asks you if you like her outfit or something, and you don't want to be like, no, I hate it. So like you say you like it. Yeah.
Like stuff like that.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
All that stuff, like people ask, you know, you just don't want them to feel bad. So, you know, it's kind of, it's a hard decision if you want to make that person feel bad, like then, or imagine if they find out that you're lying though. Like, I know that's happened to me before. I've told people that, you know, oh, they're like, how's my hair look today, for example? I'd be like, oh, it's nice, you know, I like it. And then like my friend would be like, do you see her haircut? And I'd be like, I don't know. And then they'd be like, oh, well, I heard that you were lying about my hair, and then they get, you know, you get in a fight, and it's not worth it, you know. It's against God's will, and it's not being like a good Christian, and you're just lying. It's wrong.
But what do you think's the better alternative, though? Like to really say to someone?
To be honest. To
really
I've
say,
seen
like,
your
I don't
hair,
like your hair?
Be like, well, I've seen your hair better, you know.
Or maybe you could be like,
around it
yeah,
sometime.
be like, I really like I'm not sure about your hair today, but I really like your outfit.
Just joke around about it. Come on, your friends. You'd be like, oh, what's going on there? And then be like, well, but your pants are nice. You know what I mean? They'll probably laugh. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know
But you can say like it's nice without being like, oh my gosh, it's the best outfit I've ever seen.
Exactly.
You know,
Just don't like embellish it.
Yeah.
You can get around it.
It is more comfortable for us to admit that we lied or cheated in one particular instance than it is for us to label ourselves as dishonest.
Some people argue that lying to a teacher about a broken printer does not make you a liar.
Or that stealing a pack of gum from a convenience store does not make you a thief.
The fact remains, however, that our actions are a reflection of who we are and who we are choosing to be.
How many lies make you into a liar?
What do you have to steal to be considered a thief?
And what price do you pay when you get caught?
Because we all know that sooner or later, we get caught.
Lauren, our spotlight guest today, learned the hard way of how telling a lie can hurt you and your reputation.
Let's hear her story now.
One time in 7th grade, it was towards our midterm exam, and it was my science exam, and my science teacher and I thought she had it out for me. You know, we didn't get along well at all. You know, I always needed extra help in science, and she was somehow never available, so we just didn't get along well. And at our school, the grading system is 70 is a D and a 71 is a C. So when we took our midterm exam, when I got it back, I got a 70, and I thought immediately it was her fault. You know, she gave me the 70. I didn't even think that it was my fault. So one of the answers was A, and I had written down a D, so I put a line down to make it look like a capital I, and I ran up to her and I told her that she marked something wrong that was right, and she immediately caught on because all my other letters were lowercase and I capitalized the one, and you know, one of the girls sitting next to me told her that I did cheat on that. So I lost complete trust in her, and in return she told the other teachers too, so I went from being on their good side to their bad sides. And it wasn't good because, you know, I could never, if they did mark something wrong, I couldn't go up to them and tell them anymore without them thinking I changed it. So I did pay a big consequence for that. It has taught me to be honest in the future. You know, I did disrespect the teacher, and I think that if I had been honest and just accepted that grade, even though it would have meant failing that certain test, it wouldn't have meant failing the class. And if I was honest, I think I would have had a better year with my teachers. I would have probably gotten better grades with them, and I would have earned their trust. And now I try to be honest, and I don't think I've done that since because I really want to get along with my teachers. I don't think there's anyone that hasn't. And I just try to be honest with my friends because, again, I really looked at it as disrespecting my teacher, and I want to be treated with respect, so I try to respect everyone else. You know, after lying, no one feels good, and I really did want to be forgiven. And it was gonna, I realized, take more for me to get forgiven by my teacher than it was God. So I did go to reconciliation, and I told the priest. And, you know, you feel horrible after you lie, and you just want to be forgiven.
Honesty is consistent with right relationships.
And as Lauren said earlier, when you tell the truth and act honestly, it shows that you value and respect other people.
Dishonesty always divides people and introduces mistrust and suspicion into a relationship.
It never results in anything good.
Even little white lies can plant seeds of doubt between people.
On the other hand, honesty builds trust.
Can any of you think of a particular time when being dishonest made you pay a big price in the end?
Well, I guess I wouldn't consider this paying a big price, but last year in gym, we had a sub, and so we weren't doing anything, we were just standing around, and I decided to leave and go to the library to work on this project we had. And the next day, my teacher asked me where I was, and I was honest with him. I didn't make up some story. I said I went to the library, and I thought maybe I'd be commended for, you know, wanting to study more, but I got in trouble for it, and I ended up getting a detention. But I mean, still I was proud of myself that I was honest, and I fessed up, and I paid for what I did.
That's what being a grown person is, you know, being mature. You can accept, you know, when you made a mistake.
Exactly.
You had bad judgment. You don't have to lie to get out of the situation. And most of the time, elders or people that, you know, you would get in trouble with, if you tell them the truth, sometimes they let you off a little bit easier, you know. They respect that you're man enough or woman enough to come up and admit that you made a mistake.
I know a couple years ago when I would do something like stupid, my parents would be like, did you do it? And I was like, no, I didn't do it. And it wasn't like a huge consequence, but like if I told them I did it, nothing would happen. They would just sit me down, tell me not to do it. But since I lied, I got grounded for like a long time for lying to them, like right to their face. So then a couple months later, I did something again, and they asked me if I did it, and this time I fessed up because there was no point in lying.
They find out I just got parents know everything.
Yeah, parents always find out, so you might as well tell the truth in the beginning.
They've known you your whole life. They can tell when you're telling the truth and when you're lying. Because I know, especially in 6th and 7th grade, you know, I started getting more freedom, and like most 12, 13-year-olds, I broke my parents' trust a few times. Like, you know, I stayed out a little bit later, and my parents asked me where I went, and I said, oh, my friend's mom like came a little bit later to pick us up. And I thought I'd get away with it. And I was really at the movies. And my mom called her and, you know, found out obviously that I was lying. And she confronted me and she gave me one more chance to tell the truth. And of course, I was immature, 12 or 13, like I said, and I lied to her. And she gave me this face, and I'll never forget it to the day I die probably. And she goes, John, I'm not angry at you. I'm just disappointed. Oh. And then she goes,
that's the worst.
You lost my trust. And I was blown away. Like, oh man, it was worse than any punishment. And to lose your parents' trust is just the worst thing ever, because that's the one person that, like not the one person, you know, the two people that you absolutely like love, and you know, you just want to make them happy and like make them proud of you, and it just killed me. It really, really killed me. Honesty also shows that you respect yourself.
When you are honest, your actions define the person you will be.
It shows a healthy self-image and self-worth that appreciates the inherent dignity you have as a child of God.
Honesty is part of acknowledging that you are responsible for your actions and attitudes.
It is one of the marks of a Christian.
In Proverbs chapter 12, verse 22, it states, "The Lord detests lying lips, but he delights in men who are truthful."
So, do you think that lying is a sin? Are there any exceptions?
We asked our teens on the street if they think that lying is a sin.
Let's see what they had to say.
Do you think that telling a lie is a sin?
Well, not necessarily a sin, but whatever goes around comes around.
I guess sometimes it could be a sin depending like how big it is, but it's not good either way.
God never lied to us, and yes, he said lying is a sin.
It is, if it's something that could probably lead to hurting somebody else.
I think telling a lie is a sin, but if you don't want to break the person's heart, then I guess it's okay to lie.
And if you're gossiping and stuff like that and you can't verify what you're saying, then yeah, it's a sin.
I mean, if it's a big thing, like, you stole something and you say you didn't, that's obviously a sin. But if it's just a little white lie, you tell your parents you did something when you really didn't, and then you go and do it anyway, so they never find out. Or if it's just a little thing, you don't want to tell someone that you're angry at them, I don't think that's a sin.
Like a white lie, like okay, Dad, we're going to a restaurant, instead we're going somewhere for a surprise party is not a sin, but I think a lie that was deliberately done to hurt someone should be.
If you're telling a white lie, it's not too bad, but if you're straight outright lying to somebody and it's going to hurt them in some way, then yeah, it is.
I think it is, because basically God says that, you shouldn't respect your parents and respect your elders, and if you lie to them, that's really not respecting them.
Yeah, according to the Bible it is, thou shalt not bear false witness, am I right? Yeah. So yeah.
Do you think that you can tell the truth but still not be honest?
I don't know. That's kind of a hard question. I guess like if you're not really like into it, like if you don't tell the full truth and you just like tell them what they want to hear.
You can exaggerate, or you can just tell your part of the story and not make it apparent to what everybody else feels too.
And then sometimes you just withhold information.
You can stretch the truth.
You can cover it up. You can leave bits and pieces out.
There's truth behind every lie, so I mean if I say she looks great in that hood, and I might be lying, but in reality she's a great person, so there's truth behind it. So it depends on the situation.
Do you guys think that being dishonest is a sin?
I definitely think so. I think any type of lie, even if it's a white lie, it's a sin. Although it may be not as great a sin, like from our perspective. It's like, oh, it's not murder. You still have to keep in mind that it is a sin and it's wrong. And as the guy said in the video there, I shall not bear false witness. I think that's very true, and we need to follow that.
Lying's also a sin because if you say, oh, well, you try and rationalize it and say, oh, it's not a sin because it's just a little thing, but all those little things like build up. And so it's just...
Yeah, when you're lying, you're not following God's path, He has a plan for all of us, and, He wants us to be truthful, honest people, That's how Jesus was. He was a truthful, honest man. He said it, told it how it was, and that's what we should do. And, sometimes it might be tough. You might, offend some people or whatever. But if someone needs to be lied to feel good about themselves, like if a girl, like we were talking about earlier, needs to be constantly, told that her hair looks nice so she'll feel good, then you should talk to that person about respect and feeling good about yourself before you lie to her. You know what I mean? So it's a sin. You're really going off the path of God when you lie.
But I do think that when people tell lies, it kind of depends what the motivation is for that. And I think that as long as we keep in mind the respect for other people and the respect for ourselves, if we, don't judge the honesty of other people's hearts, because we can't know what they're thinking about and why they're lying. But there are certain cases where I think, we're told to act as Jesus would act. And Jesus wouldn't be brutally honest to the point that he would hurt someone else's feelings. He might say something like, oh, you look nice. Even if somebody doesn't necessarily look their best, he might say you look nice. But if we lie to benefit ourselves, then it is wrong because it is lying, and that in itself is wrong.
Yeah, it's like there's two cases. Like one where you're not wanting to hurt someone, and one where you want to, make someone feel good.
Has anyone ever told you a lie which really hurt you?
Lauren has another story where she was lied to and tells us how that hurt her.
She also talks about what her Catholic faith teaches her about being honest.
Probably in about 5th grade, I was running for student council, and I was up against 2 boys, and since our school we only had about 30 kids in the class, the majority was boys. So I tried to get all the girls to vote on my side, and my best friend at the time, she said she promised me that she'd vote for me. And then I thought, I was very close. I was the second runner-up, and they told me it was only off by 2 votes. And one of them, when I actually saw the votes, was off. One of my other friends had voted for someone else, but my best friend had actually voted for someone else other than me. And I confronted her about it, and she was like, no, I voted for you. And then I told her that I did say it. So I did get really mad at her, and now that I look at it, it was something minor that we shouldn't have fought over. But we probably didn't talk for about a good half of the year after that. It was just really disheartening to see, someone that you thought you trusted lie to you. I was really upset that she lied to me, someone that I trusted completely. She was my best friend at the time, and I'd go to her and talk to her all the time about anything because I thought I could trust her, and it really did make me think, is she telling the truth after she talked to me again, or is she lying to me? And I honestly couldn't confide in her anymore about secrets because I didn't know whether she'd tell them to people, and it was just very disheartening. I think the deep root of our faith is to be honest. I think they teach us we have to be honest with ourselves. Like, for instance, in the sacrament of reconciliation, we have to be honest with God and the priest just to be cleansed. So I think honesty is very important. I think Jesus, he definitely doesn't want us to hurt other people or be disrespectful. So I think he really does want us to be honest all the time because, you know, in my experience, you never get anywhere lying. You know, you only get lower than you really were. And Jesus really does want us to treat each other with kindness, and lying to someone, you know, isn't a way to do that.
Have any of you ever been hurt by lies told to you?
I know I have. One time my entire group of friends was supposed to go out for dinner, and two of my friends had said to me, you know, like, oh, we can't go, our parents won't let us go out tonight. And when I got to dinner with all my other friends, one of them said to me, you know, oh, are you mad? Are you okay? And I was like, what are you talking about? And they were like, oh, well, didn't you know they didn't want to come to dinner just because you were going to be here? They're really mad at you for some reason. And I was like, what? I just didn't understand why, like, they could tell everybody else that they were mad at me, but, like, they had to lie to me about it. Like, the situation could have been resolved so much faster if they just talked to me instead of lying.
Something like that happened to me. It was like at the end of 8th grade, it was like all these graduation parties, and like I was sitting next to this girl that, you know, we had gone to school together for like 10 years, and she was like talking to somebody else, and she says to me, oh yeah, I'm having this party, and it's gonna be like all the girls, like 12 girls, like sleeping over my house. It'd be like the last big hurrah before we go off to high school. And I was like, oh, that's gonna be so much fun, like all this stuff. And she was like, oh, the invitation's in the mail, all this stuff. Well, I never got it, right? And going to different graduation parties, everyone was always whispering behind my back, and I was like, what's going on, what's going on? And it ended up that, like, she never invited me, I wasn't invited, she didn't want me to come, she was using her mom as an excuse, all this stuff, but I was like, it would have been okay, I would have been hurt in the beginning if she had said I wasn't invited, but like to have at all the different graduation parties, people talking behind my back, and everyone else knew except me, like, that was awful.
Mm-hmm. I know I used to have a really, really good friend who moved away, and I used to be friends with two of them. And he came back, and we hadn't talked in a while, so we changed. I went a different path than him. And he talked to my other friend, who we were all friends together, and he started spreading rumors about me. And I went to him, I confronted him, I said, are you giving him false rumors that who I am now? And he's like, no. And I talked to my friend who moved back, and he said, oh yeah, he told me that. So I was really mad because it made me look really bad and told him who I really wasn't. So when you tell lies, you're giving a wrong story, and in hurting other people's feelings, and I was really hurt by that.
I think like in all these instances we can learn like two major things. One, if you lie, most like 99% of the time it's going to be found out. Mm-hmm. And two, situations can be so much easier if you just be honest.
Yeah.
It's important to realize too that sometimes by telling a lie you can end up hurt yourself. Mm-hmm. Like I was going through a really hard time once, and my mom kept saying to me like, what's wrong, are you okay? And I kept telling her, I'm fine, when in reality, I really was dealing with a situation and was really upset about it. And eventually, it like spiraled out of control, and I ended up needing to go to her for help. And if I hadn't lied in the beginning and just told her what was bothering me, I wouldn't have ended up in the situation that I was in.
Mm-hmm. Honesty is the best policy.
We are constantly bombarded with ideas from the popular culture that invites us to recreate ourselves in the image of this supermodel or that celebrity.
For Christians, Jesus is our role model.
St. Paul reminded the Ephesians that by following the ways of Jesus and speaking the truth in love, we will in all things grow up into him who is the head, that is Christ.
Only in this way do we mature fully into what we truly are, members of the body of Christ.
So guys, what are some of the ways the teachings of your faith have helped you become more honest and, just be an overall, like, honest person?
Well, I think it's really important to look at Jesus as an example. Like, Jesus never lied, and it's always like, what would Jesus do, like in those situations? Well, he wouldn't lie, so that sort of helps me put it all into perspective, and that any little lie, it is a sin, and it will hurt someone or ourselves, so it's just really important not to lie.
Yeah, exactly. It made me rethink the times I was going to use a white lie, but instead I decided to be honest.
Another thing to keep in mind when you tell a lie is you may think no one knows or no one's going to find out about it, but Jesus and God will always know.
And that's why they gave you a conscience, because you can tell a lie and be like, oh, I got away with this, nobody knows, I got to maybe do something instead of what I was supposed to do, and you feel good about it for maybe a few minutes, and then it's on your conscience for the rest of the day. It's not like you did something to deserve, not going to work or something like that. All you're doing is kind of thinking that you're deceiving yourself, deceiving the people that maybe you work for, deceiving God, but you still have your conscience because God gave that to you. So you never get off scot-free because God sees, first of all, what you're doing, and it's a sin, and also you're going to feel guilty. Even if you kind of try to ignore those feelings, they're still going to be there because naturally that's just how we are. We feel bad when we do things that we know are wrong.
Yeah, there's nothing good about lying. You get caught, you feel bad, and in the long run, God and Jesus knows. So why lie?
When we are honest, we become more like Jesus.
And we serve as a witness of God for the world.
St. John reminds us that whoever lives by the truth comes into the light.
So that it may be seen plainly that what he has done has been done through God.
When other teens meet you, they will come to know who Christ is by encountering Christ in you.
If you are known as a Christian, others will draw conclusions about what that means by the way you act.
Being an honest person is one way to live by the truth and share the light of God with others.
Do you have any stories about being honest which you would like to share with us?
Write to us on our website.
The address is realfaithtv.com.
Or you can contact us by phone at 609-406-7402.
And remember, when you are honest, people learn it is safe to rely upon you because you are truthful and dependable.
Your honesty respects their dignity and is part of the foundation on which a relationship will stand.
Thanks for watching.
We'll see you next time
on Real Faith TV. God bless.